Today I want to talk about something that I think is very important with anything that you do, and that's preparation. So, I mean, if you are going to build a swimming pool, you don't just grab a shovel, start digging a hole. You got a plan. You figure out how much it's going to cost. You figure out exactly what you need to do. That's the same thing when playing guitar. And part of preparation for learning guitar is having an effective practice routine that you commit to, and you have certain amount of time, certain days that you commit to playing, and built specifically for you, because everybody has different goals, everybody has different weaknesses, and that's what it should be based around, is like what type of guitarist that you want to be, what style do you want to play, and what are your weaknesses. And if you're a beginner, then you probably have a lot of weaknesses, so it's not that hard. Most of us are playing guitar to have fun, but it's not always going to be fun. That's part of learning something like playing guitar, something that's this complex and this complicated. There's going to be times when it's not fun, and that's where a structured practice routine and commitment comes in. So I'm going to share with you guys my outline that I think works very well to develop a structured practice routine for yourself. And I'm also going to share with you guys at the end my favorite exercise that I use to warm up, with 4 categories that I think about when I put together a practice routine. And this is what I do pretty much not necessarily every time I sit down and practice. I don't do all 4 of these, but these are included in my practicing every week at least. So the first one is exercises. The exercises should be focused on the techniques that you are trying to get good at. Again, specified for your weaknesses and the style of guitar that you want to play, but they shouldn't be too complicated. I've seen exercises on YouTube and online that are so complex, it's like I might as well just learn like a kill switch song or something, because it's going to be that hard and it's going to take that much time to learn this exercise. It's supposed to help me with alternate picking, so why don't I just learn a song that involves alternate picking? So the exercise should be pretty basic and easy to learn, but effective to get you better at that specific technique. Generally, I just do like 2 to 4 of these exercises for like 5 to 10 minutes. About 15 to 20 minutes when I practice is about how long I spend on these exercises. You always want to play them to a metronome as well. The second thing that I do is learning cover songs, learning other people's songs. I think that's one of the best things that you can do. There's a reason why these songs from bands and other musicians are heard by millions of people. Is because there's something about them that is good. Find the songs that you think are good, that you like the structure of, you like the sound of, you like the way they're played, and then start learning these and learning how they're put together. I suggest that you learn songs from different bands and different genres if you want, to just kind of see the variety of what people do. It's good to have them focus on like specific techniques that you're trying to get better at. For example, I'm in the process of learning a Trivium song, and the main riff is like two gallops. It's a 222 beats per minute, so it's a pretty quick song. It's two gallops into like a little melody. And I wanted to get better at gallops going into other riffs, so I learned this song, and it's helped me out a lot. Also, they shouldn't be too challenging. It shouldn't be something that's going to take you forever to learn, that's going to be discouraging. It should, within like a few days or so, you should feel like you're getting at least the main riffs of the song down, and that you could play them at a slower pace. And again, it's okay too if you pick a song that you think is too hard at the tempo that it's played at, and then learn it at a slower tempo, and then maybe someday later on when you're a little bit better, bump the tempo up to where it needs to be, or to where it's played at in that actual song, and then play it that way. But as long as you can learn it at a slower tempo and get the idea down, get it figured out, that's okay. And two, if you do start to learn a song and then realize that it's actually too hard for me, I shouldn't have started learning this song, it's okay to quit and come back to it maybe once you get a little bit better. A third thing that I do is I write my own riffs, write my own songs. A lot of the times these riffs are consistent with like the style of music that I'm listening to, the bands that I'm listening to, the songs that I'm learning at the time. Sometimes I'll even take a specific song and I'll copy the structure and almost basically copy it riff for riff, maybe same tempo, same key signature, just write my own riffs, but basically copy the song. And that's a good exercise to get yourself writing songs. It's good to find a way to not forget the riffs. Myself, personally, I'll write something and play it for a while and then forget it like 5 minutes later. So generally what I'll do is if I come up with something that I like and I want to keep it, I'll play it for like 20 minutes straight, maybe even record the audio of it or record the video of me playing it, and then I'll tab it out on Guitar Pro. That's a great app, a great tool to use when you write riffs, because then you put it in there. Even if you don't want to go back to it the next day or the next week, you have it somewhere and you can come back to it later on and then, you know, relearn it or even listen to it and decide, do you even really like that riff? A lot of the times I'll write something that I like at the moment and then I'll listen back to it like a month later. I'm like, that's not really what I thought it was. I don't really like that riff as much as I thought, and then I don't ever play it again. And the last thing that I make sure that I incorporate into my guitar playing, which is my favorite part of my practice routines, is like free time, free jam, just whatever off the top of your head, whatever you want to play. Sometimes I'll play through songs that I know pretty well, that I like to play. Sometimes I will just write my own stuff. You know, other times I'll throw in a metronome and just play random like rhythms, strumming patterns, gallops, just whatever you feel at the time. Just have fun. The way you should structure your practice routine too should be focused more on the stuff that you enjoy. So maybe, you know, I try to do like 60 to 70% of the ideas that I like, probably more like 70% of the ideas that I like, which for me is the free jam and learning other songs, playing other band songs. Those are the two things that I enjoy the most. So that's 70% of my practice routine. And then like the exercises I throw in too, and I make sure that I get those in, but it's not as big of a part of my practice routine because ultimately you want it to be fun. Sometimes we get too stuck on the idea of trying to get good, so we try to put in all of these like things that we think are going to make us really good into our practice routines, but they end up not being stuff that's fun. So, you know, what's the point if it's not going to be fun at least part of the time? It's not going to be fun all the time. That's just the way it goes when you're learning something. There are going to be times when you don't want to do it, and there are going to be stuff that you don't want to do that are necessary. Like for me, some of these exercises that I focus on for finger independence, alternate picking, sweep picking, I don't truly enjoy, but they're effective and important, so I make sure that I do them on a regular basis. Now I'll just show you guys my favorite exercise that I generally warm up with. It doesn't really matter what string or what fret you're on. I usually will go off of the 5th fret on the A string, and then it's 1, 3, 4, and then you jump down to the string below with the first finger, and then you do that same thing, 1, 3, 4, but then you jump down with the second finger, 1, 3, 4, third finger, and then if I can do it. And then go 1, 3, 4 instead of 1. I think I was doing 1, 2, 4, and then go 1, 3, 4. Same thing. And then you can even jump down another string too and skip that third string or that D string. That is my favorite exercise. It's an alternate picking exercise, and I think it's great for finger independence and linking the two hands together. And it's a great warm-up too, so